Hello YouTube, it's Josh from the Pantek Brothers, and I am here with the weekly recap. And as many of you may know, especially those who are following this channel and are up on technology, you know that this weekend is CES 2017 from Las Vegas, the world's biggest consumer electronics expo. And so there is obviously lots and lots of technology news this week, especially yesterday and going into today and this weekend. There are lots of announcements, a lot of product unveilings. So let's get to a couple of them. The first is Sony has just announced its first OLED 4K TV, which obviously includes the new Dolby Vision HDR. It is the XBR A1E. It is super thin. It looks gorgeous. A very small bezel around the outside. And the way it has the electronics in the back of kind of like a stand, kind of tripod looking thing. I'll obviously have the link to it in the description. It'll come in 55, 65, and 77 inches. The smallest one's going to start out at around $2,500, so not too cheap, but obviously this is, CES we're talking about, so prices will obviously change as items become available in the market. Next up, we have Dell has announced a new Latitude laptop. It is the 7285. It is a 2-in-1, so not too dissimilar to like the Microsoft ProBook. So the big feature is like, okay, well, what's so different about this compared to something we have 2-in-1s for a long time now? This one has been, I guess, kind of talked about from Dell for a while, probably over the last year, and just now being announced. It is a 2-in-1, but it is going to have a wireless charging unit built into the bottom. So there will be a mat, not too dissimilar to the ones you use on your cell phone, and it'll be built into the bottom portion of the keyboard, so you can put it on top of the mat and it'll wirelessly charge. So it'll help, obviously, in the fact that you don't have to have this, ugly wall wart power brick to carry around with you. It might be a little bit easier to lug around on travel. But it looks pretty cool. Following that up, Dell has also announced, now it'll claim that they're not trying to copy Microsoft, but they came up with a all-in-one 27-inch canvas type PC. So it melds kind of like a Wacom tablet with a display. Not too dissimilar than Microsoft's new creative Surface Studio. But it basically does all the same type of thing with a stylus. It's a nice, I think it's 2K or 4K screen. See, the Studio is bigger. It has a 4500 by 3000 resolution, whereas this has 2560 by 1440. So again, not quite up to snuff as the Microsoft one, but it looks pretty cool. And it has the same kind of little dial apparatus, it looks like, that the Microsoft has in addition to theirs. Moving on, a little company, I guess they're not too little, but a company called Retroboy. Now, they already make a handheld, kind of retro gaming console, if you will, that takes the old Super Nintendo, and with an adapter, the Sega Genesis cartridges, and allows you to use them on a handheld. They're coming out with a Super Retroboy, and it does like Game Boy Advanced, the original Game Boy Color cartridges, and in the very, very close to the original form factor that Nintendo used for the Game Boy. So if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've been putting together the RetroPie OS on the Raspberry Pi 3 to do kind of a retro gaming console for the living room to hook up to my TV. And so this is kind of a scaled back version. They don't really specs as far as what it's running, but I have a feeling it's probably some sort of Android or Raspberry Pi Linux background. It's supposed to have a 2500 milliamp battery, and it's supposed to be scratch and shatter resistant screen with 10 hours of gameplay on that battery. And so it's supposed to be high resolution TFT. I don't know what that actually is going to mean as far as resolution goes. It doesn't say. But it's pretty cool, especially if you like just the Game Boy games. I would have liked to see them maybe put NES and SNES support on that, but maybe that'll come in the future, because obviously the hardware is probably capable of that emulation. And last but not least is a new laptop from Razer, and this one is really cool. I like the innovation. It is a laptop that has a 17.3 inch screen, but it has two additional screens that basically kind of like fold out from the center to give you 3 monitors, and it is really slick. I know for me, on my desktop at work here, I have a triple monitor stand. It helps me with efficiency. I can have my work order system on one screen, I can have my email on the other screen, and whatever I'm working on in the center screen. It allows me not to have to continually minimize and maximize screens and slide windows and adjust sizes back and forth. And so when I have the chance to work from home and remote in, it's super difficult to go back and forth between not having multi-monitors and having the triple monitor at work. Working off a laptop with a single 17.3 or 17.5 inch screen is really hard and way less efficient than having to constantly minimize, open a screen, look at it, put it back down again, open something else up. It just takes a lot longer to do the same things that it takes less time to do at work. So something like this would be awesome to have it all in one, not to have to have, laptops and a docking station or extra monitors and a docking station set up permanently just to hook up a laptop and have that same setup at home or on the go even. Those who travel a lot will probably find this very helpful. So it's very cool, very interesting to see what's coming down the road. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more stuff announced today, and I will probably keep track of that over the next week and hopefully get you another recap on the rest of the CES announcements next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will definitely see you next week. Have a good one.